Through the ups and downs, we stand tall in this journey of growth. Day by day, through the ups and downs, we stand tall in
Hi.
journey of growth day by day.
We're just struggling with what we're talking with, I think, are we?
Yeah, we're talking
Talking
about, I
about.
think we're talking about the like personal biases and everyday critical thinking. So like when it comes to art, into inner narratives as well. So I'm just trying to find what
Okay.
we'd said about. So hold on a sec. Let me just whack it in. It's very unorganized today. It's very much like me and unlike you when it
Well,
comes to
you've
this.
had a big week.
Big.
Tell us about your week.
It's been, yeah, I
If you want to,
started
anyway.
yeah, not massively. Started doing some new work, but yeah, other than that, it's been good. It's been a good week. Where have we got up to on here? So hold
How
on,
did you
let me
enjoy
put it
your
in.
how did you enjoy your new work?
I very much enjoyed it. I very much like the people there. Do you know what it is? When obviously you're working, doing therapy type work, it's a complete contrast to
Mm.
working in corporate when it comes to the type of people that you're working with and the personalities and what people do and don't tell you is what I find. And the
Oh,
conversations are really open. I think, as in, it's interesting sitting back when people don't really know that what you do in your other life, say, and then they're sitting there talking about things. Parenting being one thing. It's really interesting.
do you think that there are people it sounded like you said people are more open?
Yeah, I think they're more open because they're not thinking you're um in what they're saying, as in conversationally.
More open than comparing to.
Um, I suppose comparing to other people that know what you do.
Oh, I see what you mean. So
Yeah.
not compared to like clients, for example.
Oh no. Well, I hope not. It's the whole
Oh,
reason they're
exactly.
there.
Mm, that's what I was thinking.
No, compared to other people that kind of like, oh, you analysing me, are you? You know, that kind
Uh,
of thing. Whereas there, it's really it's interesting. It's a different kind of people. And like I said to you about the guy that was near me, I just love the conversations. They're really high vibrational, middle-aged men, and they're all like really excitable about things that you probably wouldn't get excited about, but like just chatting away. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna meet. I'm coming up to Leeds on Wednesday. We'll go for a coffee and a bun. I love that. I love that whole sentence. I wrote it down because I loved it.
I think that's brilliant. We're going to go for a coffee and a bun.
And
What's a bun?
this is it. Is it a
Did you
bail
ask
bun?
what's a bun?
No, because he was in the middle of a conversation and it's quite important. But I think, well, when I see him next week, I'm going to ask him, what did he mean by bun? Do you mean a bun that is, like I picture a
Hot cross
bun as
bun.
being, no, you see, yeah, I picture a bun being one of those with the icing on the top of the
Uh,
cherry.
with a cherry on
So
top.
I'm picturing him with a coffee and a bun with a cherry on the top.
So what I'm wondering is whether he'd go for a coffee and a bun if he were in London or if it's just
Yeah.
when he's up north.
Ah, yes. Maybe I'll add that in. I'll write
And
that
whether
down.
he could even have mistaken like a northern tea cake for a bun.
Ah, and then you've obviously got you've got Welsh cakes as well. If he was in Wales,
If he were in Wales.
yeah, he's not though. He sounded like he was. I was intermittently listening because obviously trying to do bits and bobs as well. But yeah, I like the diverse. And do you know what I found? Right, I haven't been up to London for a while. Not that this has got anything to do about what we're talking about. I'm trying to
Oh, where
link it
was
in,
the
you know.
office? I think I've asked you that twice and I think I
Grace Church
haven't.
Street.
Where's
So
that?
just at the end of Fenchurch Street, literally.
Right.
But I haven't been up there for quite a while now, and it was you walk past people and everybody's smiling at you. It's really nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's quite different from what I remember.
Yeah, that's not how it used to be when I
My
remember.
friend Joe, who I went to meet for a coffee beforehand, we went to a lovely coffee place. I wish I could remember what it was called, but they're ethical coffee makers and workers as well. So they have people that are struggling with their mental health or are
Mm,
homeless working there as
that's
well. They give
nice.
them jobs. Yeah, and the coffee was amazing as well. I have to look it up because it was a really nice place. But yeah, it was really nice. People were lovely. Coffee was amazing. Yeah.
and you don't have to go there very
It
often.
wasn't a
So it'll be,
Starbucks.
oh no,
Mm.
it'll
Although I
be
do like,
nice. I quite like Starbucks as well. It's
but not in
always my
London when
go-to.
you've got all of these independent coffee places now. Loads of
I
them.
love an independent coffee place when they make an effort.
Mm. Yeah, this was lovely. It was really, really nice.
We've
And the
got a little
people were
one
nice.
not so far from us, which is really lovely, and they're at a coffee roasters. So they're on a farm where there's a coffee
Yeah,
roasting place and it's lovely.
yeah.
That's much prefer that every day over
Mm.
Starbucks, but not a coffee place that not doesn't give you frothy milk and stuff.
No, it doesn't make a pretty picture on the top.
Yeah, and doesn't have alternative milks for us dairy intolerant.
Yes, and it had my Rude Health coconut milk as well, which is the
Amazing,
cleanest one you can get.
brilliant. I don't think it's cleaner than Plenish, but
Is it
oh
not?
no,
Oh, God. Well, Lucy B coconut. Lucy B used to do the cleanest one ever. It had nothing bad in it at all, and no one stopped it because it was too expensive.
have a look
But
at
it's not too
Plenish.
expensive now. I will, because I haven't heard of that.
Yeah,
Anyway, today
right.
I've put it into WhatsApp for you because it wouldn't
I've
copy
got it.
completely into there. But yeah, so actually, this is, I suppose. Have you ever caught yourself judging someone? So if we're talking about the personal biases and everyday critical, because where did this come from originally? I think this was because sometimes you can project your thoughts of what of other things onto and be judgmental, I suppose, which I know I can be 100%, and how you actually, I suppose, with the research that we're both doing at the moment, it's taking things and actually understanding what's real and what's not, or what we need to take away from something. Take what you need, leave what you don't, and what not what should be, you know that word, but what the correct research perhaps is as well when we're looking at things like that. Do you think or
Mm.
not? You're looking at me like not like you don't think I'm saying the right thing.
No,
Are you
I'm wondering
judging
how
me?
they link together. No, I'm thinking about it. You used the word projection, and we've used the word projection quite a lot.
Yeah.
I've used it quite a lot. I think it would be good to give a brief description of projection. So
Go on
I
then.
I got that I've got that here. Projection is a psychological defense mechanism where someone attributes their own unwanted thoughts, feelings, or traits to someone else. For example, a person who is feeling angry may accuse others of being hostile. It helps reduce internal conflict but can distort reality and affect relationships. Um, so I guess what that first question about have you caught yourself um, judging someone and then realize later it's you projecting onto them is yeah, judging someone negatively and then it's that mirror, isn't it? Seeing the
Yeah.
mirror. And yes, I think I do this and I have done this, but my wondering is whether, or not wondering, but I don't know necessarily because I might feel like they're being whatever or are whatever, and they may well be because I would never know without asking them.
Mm. Then you're not judging up until if you're not saying it out loud, I suppose, and you're not, then it's not meant in a hostile way. No, if you're just,
Mm.
you can pass judgment. Everybody does it. You can't be like, oh, I'm so I don't judge anyone. Well, of course you
No, I
do.
think I think judging is a normal and necessary human
Mm.
trait.
Yeah.
So we all judge and we all need to judge
And then it's
because
I've got on here biases and mental shortcuts that help us make quick decisions, but they can cloud our judgment.
so do you ever judge people and realize it's yourself projecting?
Yes. But then I think that comes with self-awareness, which we've spoken about before, doesn't it? If you're not aware you're doing it, like I wind Pete up particularly when I go, nice bit of projection there, you know.
Mm.
Yeah, when he's been all Judgerson,
Do you
as I
have a
call it.
clear example? I'm trying to think of a time when I could realize I've done it, but don't really I can't really think of any.
Yeah, that's true. I suppose say personal experiences with things like um perhaps say being a policeman's daughter, for example,
Mm.
thinking that my experience, because I do know quite a few, I have no contact with my dad, and I know a lot of other policemen's daughters, and three others, friends, that aren't contact with their. So therefore, I'm like, well, they're all narcissistic, aren't they? All
Mm.
personality traits. And so I can be a bit like that. Whereas I know other people that aren't no contact and that have got great policeman
But that's
parents.
not really projecting, is it? That's just, isn't that just tarring all, what's the phrase?
So what is the project?
Like,
What's the projection then? If I'm not projecting my feelings, because I'm like, oh, well, you talk to your.
I think it's more one to one. Like if you were, if you perceived me as being grumpy right now,
Mm,
you might
are
say,
you
"Oh, you're
grumpy?
so grumpy." But then if someone else were to watch back the video, they might see you being grumpy and not me, if that makes sense. Like it might
Yeah.
not be that I'm grumpy, it might be you're
Is it
grumpy and you're thinking
subjective?
it's got to be subjective. But there's definitely times I think when when it happens, as I think this happens to a lot of people in text messages,
Oh
or
God,
not text messages,
yes.
but like WhatsApp.
Like I always think when I send you, so say I send you along, and I'm always like caveat, don't listen to it in front of the kids, or but I always think I don't know. I suppose it's reading thing, and I'm like, oh no, I didn't mean it like that, or
I
I think that you're going to think. I suppose
oh,
I'm.
you
Then
think I'm
that's not
going to think
projection. Yeah, that's not projecting, is it? That's like
I'm not who I
trying to
think I am.
be.
I'm not who you think I am. I'm who I think you think I am.
I'm like, no, I didn't mean it. I read it back, and I'm like, no, I didn't mean this. That's not even the same thing, is it? That's another kettle of fish. I'll add
No,
that to the
but
subject list.
I think I've spoken about this before when I I was messaging someone about doing something and I felt they were being really like uninterested, I suppose. Uninterested and also uncollaborative. And so my responses were based on them being uninterested and uncollaborative. And then about 5 months later, when someone asked me, "Did you speak to that person?" and I said, "Yeah," but they were just uninterested and uncollaborative. And I scrolled back through the messages. I was like, "Let me show you what they wrote," and they were not there. The uninterested and uncollaborative messages were not there because
What
they were
you'd
not.
made them up?
I hadn't made them up, but I'd read them differently at the time to what I read them months later when I was in a different headspace.
Yeah.
So, and I've done, and that's not the first time I've done that. Like, there's been other instances where I've gone back. Um, oh, sorry, I'm just getting flashings up on my phone. It's distracting me. Let me
Actually, I
turn it
haven't put
over.
mine on. I haven't put mine on Do Not Disturb. You're right, because it cuts things out.
It just flashes
Yeah.
up and then it's disturbing. Definitely situations where I read something in a certain way and react in response to how I've read it. But then when
Rather
I
than
go
it
back
being.
to it, sometimes I go back to it months later and it's not even the words, it's obviously exactly the mindset I was in. And so I think that shows that that must be going on all the time, even in face-to-face interactions, all
Yeah.
based on how I'm feeling in the moment.
Yeah. Is that like why people that are all love and light all the time can don't? Is that another law of attraction thing?
Love and light, I hate that. What is it? Love, light, and what? Peace, love, light, or something.
Well, I don't know.
I find it
But
so
like people that walk
patronising.
around like fairies, like
Are you
ah, la la la
are you
la.
projecting?
Exactly.
Are you
Or if I
judging?
was projecting, I'd think that I was a fairy, wouldn't I? Would I? I don't
Well,
think. I
yeah.
definitely don't think I'm a fairy. I'd like to be. Anyway.
So, about personal biases, you you were on a what do you call it, like a workshop for extremism.
Yes. Yeah.
You must have touched on biases there.
Yeah, it was on everyday extremism. So how it basically is a guy that's writing a paper, and his name escapes me now. Probably won't listen to this, so it's not going to be offended. But there was a lot of people on there that were listening, he was basically talking about the research that he'd done and how everyday biases come into our lives and how we don't realize what we're saying. So there could be things that you could be, and it comes into the Palestine and was mentioned in there,
Yeah.
and obviously wars and how, you know, joking about things that perhaps you or I would find funny in front of certain groups would be considered everyday extremism, and how it can bleed into everything and the views of people that say we don't watch the news, right? So things filter through that we want to filter through. Therefore, we don't have the same opinions as, say, somebody that does watch the news because we've got no view on it. Whereas they will project onto the news. I don't know, loads of riots that were going on in last year in London to do with I don't know if it was to do with climate. See, it was to do with something. Summer riots last year in London, but they were such a short percentage in people in person, but the online element of it went on massively. So it had a really big building online. People believing this was a huge problem when it wasn't.
Mm.
So, and that was from a small amount of people having an opinion on something, perhaps an unfounded bias. And then they were then, I'm probably completely demolishing his massive paper that he's written, but that was the kind of view that he was talking about was that kind of bias where people will listen to a short amount of people without then taking in critical thinking into consideration and then go off on one
It's really hard, isn't
in
it? I
lay
think
terms.
with all of the different sources of information we have at the moment, where is it trustworthy? And so many people trust like BBC or the
Well, there was
newspapers.
people were dropping BBC in the comments. Nobody spoke, so obviously I was the only person who decided to go on camera and talk. But people were dropping like BBC references into the comments and things like that. I sent you one of them,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was like one of the references was, and I was like, that's completely been, yeah. It's a critical thinking side of of the biases that maybe have come out
Mm.
as to what, but then how do, with all of the information that you've got now, how then do you decide what's real,
Yeah, I don't think you can. I don't. I
especially with
switch off
all of
from the
the,
news.
yeah. Well, funnily enough, I had a conversation with a lady last night and she is um yeah, I really look up to her, and she says that she can't get too involved in a lot of the things that I was we were talking. She said, I just can't, I don't have the capacity. She said, I can concentrate on this part of what's going on in the world, and then I switch off from everything else.
Mm.
I think that leads into the kind of the book that you're writing at the moment, which is we mentioned this last week, I think, about the uh, amount of people that you would be talking to normally.
Yeah, 150 is that magic
Yeah,
number, Dunbar's magic number.
yeah. So and she's like, and she was using those kind of principles and she lives by them. So I think she'd be
Yeah,
interested in your book.
I think
Um,
so. And if you can do things right with your 150 people, then it will ripple out.
well, yeah, and obviously talking about the protection of women and things like that, right? So I've got my view on that because of my upbringing, and I can see the gaps that other people probably can't see, and I can see them so clearly now, and so much more. I suppose what's really going on,
Mm.
and the lack of protection, but also over history. And I think you sent me a really good excerpt from the book Sapiens that you're reading or that you've read, and about, you know, it's either to do with when it comes to protecting the vulnerable, what like power, finance, or political
Mm.
gain, and that's when things will start moving in that favour if there's some kind of gain from it. So
Yeah.
there's that to be taken into consideration. But also when it comes to working with, say, children, should you be explaining the terrible things that are going on in the world to vulnerable children because nobody is protecting them? They should have guardians. Children shouldn't be exposed to that kind of information. They're not ready for it. So you can, how far do you go back down? Then it's a societal problem,
Yeah,
not a
and
child's problem to understand that they shouldn't be being bad things happening. They should be protected
yeah, causing
and then
trauma through
educated.
stories.
Mm.
Okay, I've got some questions based on our topic, so I'll ask them to you.
Oh,
And well, I'll just start with the first one.
start at the beginning.
I
That's a
always
good
say
one.
that
No,
to my
start at the end.
clients. My clients come in and they say, oh,
Start at the
so
end.
much has happened, I don't know where to start. Just start at the beginning. That's all. It's the best place to start usually.
I didn't prepare any questions. Now I feel
Oh, I just prepared them.
I
What's
just prepared. Okay, so you did then.
what do you
Sorry, am I
mean just
projecting?
now? The past
Ah,
10 seconds.
you just. You see, there's a comma.
Just. I
Or
just
not comma.
prepared them. I think it's the just, as opposed to I prepared them.
There you go.
What's a belief you held strongly 5 years ago that you now see differently?
I think the failures in the justice system, that
Oh,
is definitely a
tell me
belief.
more.
Yeah. Well, as I was talking to you about, I think I probably 5 years ago I thought that the justice system was there to uphold, was to be fair, and now I realise that it's definitely not fair. And I think that the whether or not that's my echo chamber, and this could be a bias as well. So, but I believe that there is a gap where the police uphold the law, then but there's no other considerations. It's like you broke the law, okay, but why did the person break the law? What happened beforehand? Was any? I don't think there's enough considerations taken into account, particularly where women. But this is going down. This could be going down my bias because of what I'm looking at the moment, and also personally what's happened to me as well. It could be that. But when I was then looking back at things and looking at how I was treated personally and looking at emails from the police that I received, they were definitely completely in the wrong in what they were saying to me, and I took it and I believed what they were saying, and now I know that I was being fobbed off and they weren't doing their jobs, and I have proof. So that's definitely something that I think that I know now that I didn't know before, that they're not always there to help.
Yeah, okay.
But what the reasoning is behind that, I'm still yet to decipher.
Well, probably a societal thing as well, isn't it?
Yeah, fobbing women off because it was male officers.
Do you think it is though? I mean, I know.
Luckily enough, I haven't had much dealings with the police
Yeah,
on the wrong or the right side, so nor do I want to.
no. I reckon it could be like the teachers. Just too many tick
Yeah.
boxes, too much
Mm.
other stuff going on. That there's things that they feel like are not worth their time.
Oh, that was definitely it. I'll forward you the email. Yeah. It was definitely like just like, "I'll go away, you silly woman," type.
I
Which,
think.
doesn't help, I think, when it comes to vulnerable women, because I wouldn't have put myself as a particularly mentally vulnerable at the time. I should have been protected more, but I wasn't. So if I was it was around at the time that there was a really big case in Chelmsford, near where I live, where a woman had been killed by a man after she'd reported stalking. So at the time, there should have been taking things more seriously, because I was being stalked and harassed. There's
Mm.
no two ways about it. And even in my wording, in my emails, it was clear that I was in distress, and I was literally getting fobbed off like, this isn't a police matter, when it was
Yeah.
100%. But at the time, I was like, oh, well, yeah, I'm making a big deal over nothing. So
Which
imagine
is,
somebody that's in a vulnerable situation, that's not mentally or legally informed.
yeah. Do you think that's how we've discussed this, haven't we? I think that's how a lot of people feel, that they're making a drama, making a fuss
Mm.
in all kinds of situations. Like,
Yeah.
we often feel as human beings that I think that we're to blame in a situation.
Mm. What about you? Is there something that it's realizations? I constantly have realizations about things, but then also I'm open to being proved wrong. I'm not sitting here saying that's it and it's black and white. I'd happily have someone, okay, prove to me then, give me some statistics that are showing me that these things are taken seriously, because I've tried to research that as well, and yeah, it goes unreported,
I wonder if
things like that. So.
are there organisations that are campaigning for things to be different?
There are some, yeah, but looking at the things that I had to look at yesterday was extremely traumatic to me, and I just think that a lot of people can't handle it.
Mm.
Particularly, I mean, and it wasn't as traumatic as some of the people that I speak to, what I went through. So imagine then having to go through all of your emails and text messages and things like that.
What do you think someone like Louise Perry would say? Because it almost supports what she says.
What, because this was what I was running backwards and forwards in my head and speaking to ChatGPT about,
Mm.
was what do I want out of this? Right, I'm getting all of this information, but what's the end result? What do I do with all this information?
Yeah. Well, you could.
Like, what to make a difference? And then the only thing that I could think realistically was, I cannot be bothered with the aggravation, because I looked up the statistics on what let me try and find it, hold on a sec. So I think I said, what did I say to them? I was asking if it's going to remember everything, because I don't want to do it again. Right, so the question that I said was, has anyone with this similar story got anywhere with a complaint to the police? Had I had the knowledge I have now at the time, I would not have stopped and carried on and made a complaint then. What are the consequences? So ChatGPT then came back and said, obviously, it confirms my
Yeah.
what I have to say.
Should we have a
Angela,
little caveat
your
that we are
instinct is bang
aware?
on. Yes, we are aware that ChatGPT is not necessarily right. Many women with stories just like yours never get justice, not because they are wrong, but because the system is designed to exhaust them into silence.
Wow.
So that is along the lines of the kind of thing that Louise Perry does say in her
Yeah.
book. It's not because at the end of the story, it's because some women do get somewhere, and increasingly, as awareness of coercive control, institutional betrayal, and police failure grows, so does the system's vulnerability to exposure.
Mm.
So, yeah. There are some women have had complaints upheld by the IOPC, which is the Independent Police Complaints Department, or whatever, for failures of safeguarding, mishandling, harassment reports, and data breaches, which is another story. Yeah, I don't necessarily agree in compensation. I was talking to somebody else about that yesterday, because then I think that breeds people coming forward and making heinous complaints about things. I don't necessarily think that's it. But then what do you want out of it? Do you want them to go, oh, I'm really sorry, we're going to look into, there's going to be they're going to get some fingers wagged at them. We're very sorry. We're going to make some changes to our processes.
Mm.
Are you? And that seems to be all they do. Or I can then take the information and the receipts I've got, put it into my book and go, look, this is what you need to do, and this is how you should handle things going forward. Don't get yourself in that situation in the first place. This is
And
what you can do beforehand.
And I guess that's the
That's the whole point.
that's the same path that Louise Perry takes, isn't it? It's exactly that. It's, this is the way it is.
Mm.
Keep yourself safe.
Yeah, and pretty much that's where I'm going with this. But I want the
Yeah.
receipts to be able to prove it if anyone comes at me.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I've got them. But I've also, yeah. So what about you? Is there, what are things that do you change your beliefs a lot? Do
Um,
you, I know you're saying the 5 year mark, but do you find that you change your beliefs with new information that you get? And is there new information, or is it people? What do you think?
yeah, I don't know how readily I change my beliefs, but one thing I think that I have changed my beliefs on is what we've talked about, the labels, the labeling of people, which I know has their limitations, as we discussed with limiting beliefs and things like that. But I remember when the kids were born, I was very anti labels. I thought that it was putting people into boxes and creating a role for them and defining them as something. And now I see it as something different. And I think that there are problems with it, but I also think that it's valuable in a lot of situations. And I think, yeah, so that's definitely an
Okay.
opinion. Well, um, both of my kids have got labels, and both of them say that it's helped them.
Mm.
Um,
Helps them what understand their personalities, or understand them as individuals.
well, when Shiloh was, when we were like thinking about whether to go down that diagnosis route for Shiloh, I asked Ezra, "Did it help you?" Because do you know Ezra's got that thing that she does with her hands, that movement thing.
Oh,
It's called complex
I've never
motor
noticed it.
stereotypies. No,
No,
oh well, it's really interesting. It's really interesting. So when she was about 2,
I'm not
um,
laughing. I'm laughing because no, you haven't told me.
she was about 2, just before she turned 2, we went on holiday to France, and we noticed that every time she was about to jump in the swimming pool, she did this funny thing with her mouth where she kind of opened it wide. I'd show you, but we're not on video. I mean, we're on video, but no one else is on video, so I won't.
Yeah.
And also kind of did this thing with her fingers where she clenched her fists and opened them out. And it was a strange thing. And we just thought it was like
Oh, this is
excitement.
interesting because I'm seeing somebody like, yeah, go on.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, we need to talk.
Yes.
Um, and she'd kind of do this movement
Irritating.
every
Yeah.
time she was about to jump in the swimming pool. And we thought it was like excitement about jumping in the swimming pool, or just a little kind of tick. We didn't think much of it. We thought it would just be
What's
a
it
thing that
called?
she'd do. Complex motor
I'm going to write this down because, yeah, the person I'm seeing this morning came up with something. Yeah, complex motor. Yeah.
stereotypies.
Oh, yeah.
I can send you information.
Continue.
Um,
Yeah, please
and
do.
so that she was 2 then, so that carried on. It carried on, and she'd do it kind of more and more. And then she went through phases where she was at school, and I don't know if she was trying to stop herself doing it. She says now not. She just says she was just doing it, but where she'd clench her fists instead. Oh God, I need
Yeah.
to sneeze. It's that morning sneeze. Hold on.
You can always do it. Just stop it.
I know. I got my mute on this time.
Oh, well
Um,
done. After how many months you found the
oh
mute button?
yeah. So it's just timing the
Where would
mute
we
button
be
with a
without the
sneeze. Oh,
yeah.
anyway. So yeah, she'd clench her fist, and then she'd get imprints from
Yeah.
her nails in her hands and hurt her knuckles. But it was always the same kind of movement with the mouth open and the clenching and opening of the
Yeah.
hands. And so
That's quite
I
nice.
started to do some research, and the first thing I came across was stimming, which is a more of an
Which I didn't know about
autistic.
until you told me when we went away that time. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
I didn't
like
know
an
about
autistic
stems.
thing, but the stimming is quite a different type of movement to what
Mm.
Ezra does. And eventually, after months and months of um, researching, I happened across this complex motor stereotypies. And when I looked at videos on YouTube of other people doing the same, the movement is identical. So every child who has, or every person who has this complex motor stereotypies, does the exact same movement. Um, and
Yeah.
it's fascinating. There's more. Some people have what's called intense imagery movements, which is whilst they're doing their movements, they have going on in their mind. An adult described it as a highly animated film in their mind.
Right.
And Ezra says that she does have this.
Is there a cause for this, or is it just a?
We don't know. I don't think there's been much research into it, or certainly not enough to know about that. But it's just fascinating because it's this one very specific movement, and then there's these intense images. And Ezra says, so it looks like she's doing it in excitement, but but it's not excitement. It's something else. She'll do it very much when she's doing like a role play game. She'll get into this headspace. I mean, it's fascinating. I don't talk to her about it much. For her, it's just normal. It's hard to,
Yeah, because
in
she doesn't
some
know any
ways, to
different. Yeah.
talk because she doesn't know any different. And also she's 13 and it's been there since she was 2, and so it's been a long time. It's just her. We don't talk about it much. But when she was about 8, we took her to a specialist in London who's called Tammy Headley, and she diagnosed Ezra off the back of some videos. And what we said, it must be such a simple diagnosis because the movement is so obvious and just literally the same for every person. Anyway, back to the original question. When we were thinking of doing the autism diagnosis for Shiloh, I said to Ezra, did you feel that having the diagnosis was good? And it was quite ironic because Ezra said yes, it really helped because it made me feel like I was normal. So her getting a diagnosis of a diversity made her feel normal because it meant that it was a thing that she said, a thing that other people had.
Yeah.
And I think it also can be helpful for I've read a lot of accounts of adults who have been diagnosed as an adult, and it's kind of allowed them to just breathe a sigh of relief because their whole life they thought that there was something wrong with them. This is not complex motor stereotypies. This is like ADHD or autism or something. They felt something was wrong with them because they weren't managing in the same way as other people, and then they got the diagnosis and were able to understand that's why they. And as you know, I don't believe this is a brain problem.
Yes.
I don't believe that that these people are like developing wrong, if you like. I just believe that society is so wrong that people with these characteristics can't. I think I sent you didn't I send you an article
You
the
did
other day, and
some.
it
Yeah,
said in there
yeah.
it's getting to the point where it's like what did it
Where
say, like
there's more neurodiverse than there are neurotypical.
yeah, and so it's becoming personality
So what's
types.
typical?
Well, exactly. I think typical is what fits into society, what fits into this very small box.
So, you or I don't have a diagnosis of anything, but does that mean I don't know, I've never asked for one. Should we now be asking? Should we? Should I go to the doctors and go,
Well, I did, didn't I?
do I need to? Oh, you did, didn't you? And you were very, very disappointed when you were told that what
Well,
did you only have?
when I reread, this is another thing I reread. Well, broader autism phenotype, which is autistic characteristics, but not quite strong enough to have a full autism
Not good
diagnosis.
enough.
But also the monotropic cognitive style, which did explain
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. Did that help you? Well, you are. There's loads of personality traits that I've got that I know I know I've got, but I don't know necessarily whether going and having a diagnosis. I think, like I said to you yesterday, I get my validation in other ways.
Yeah, I
Is it
liked it.
validation? Is it validation?
Yeah, you
Maybe
know
that's something
how.
we should talk about.
Do you ever do like? Have you ever done any of those quizzes, like to find your attachment
Of
style
course I
and
have, yeah.
things like that?
Yeah, all
It
my
was. It's like
personalities, like
that.
16 personalities, INFJ.
That for me, it was like that. It's like, oh, okay, I fit into that box.
But it's like, well, yeah, it's just confirming what you are.
Hmm.
I'm like, yeah, I know that.
Yeah, but I can say to
And I'm
people
a
now,
leader.
I'm a bit of a slower process. No, I think that monotropic cognitive style. I think that none of is autism. Like lots of these aren't in the DSM. Like they're not all
Okay.
of them. Autism might be. I don't know
You
actually.
know,
I'll have to look that up.
what's changed its name recently that I didn't.
Hold on, Shiloh. Can you get that big Shiloh's in here? Can you get that big
Hello,
purple
Sharon.
book out of the thing there, please? What's
Come and do
changed
your
its
child
name?
labour. It
Um,
wasn't autism, was it? Or was it? No,
Asperger's.
Asperger's. That's it.
Yeah. What is it? What's
Um,
um? Sorry, I'm very sniffy. That's not very nice, is it? On a
no,
podcast.
I think there's a lot of allergies around at the moment.
Is that a
Is it?
autism spectrum disorder is in the
That's
DSM,
it.
but I
That's what is that not what? Hold on.
uh,
Autism spectrum disorder. Yeah, that's what the DSM-5 reclassified it as. A broader term, Asperger's syndrome is now DSM-5 has reclassified it under the broader term autism spectrum disorder,
okay.
ASD.
It is actually in here as well, ADHD. I didn't think it
Okay.
was. I didn't think they were.
2013 was it? Oh no, but as of 2025,
It is.
in 2013, the American Psychiatric Association's DSM-5 reclassified it.
Oh, interesting. It's interesting because I think a lot of the things that are in here now are not what would people, when you see all those videos that come up.
But then it says why the change? The distinction between Asperger's and other forms of autism proved inconsistent and unreliable. Many individuals previously diagnosed with Asperger's exhibited traits overlapping with those of autism and autism with other autism spectrum conditions. So, evolution of conditions.
So I think anyway that that these might change when there's a new DSM brought out. Who knows? There's so much in here, though. Anyway, my 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 answer to your question is that I think maybe not 5 years ago, definitely not 5 years ago, because that's when we took Ezra to the thing. But a good 10, 15 years ago, I didn't believe in some of these diagnoses, and now I
Do you
really
think some people
do.
use it as an excuse now for anything's in particular, like they can't do that because they've got blah.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
don't
And I
want to
think
mention a specific.
we talked about this when we did the
Yeah,
podcast on it, definitely. But I still think they are helpful. I do know some children who really, really struggle, and it's absolutely nothing to do with the parenting they're receiving. And maybe it's the environment in terms of school, for sure. Um, but there's certain behaviours that are being exhibited that are just, that child's just not coping. And I think if they get a label, if you like, and then get support because they've got the label, like they
yeah,
wouldn't get the support without the label, basically. So and there just isn't the systems these days to say, okay, we can see that child needs support. Doesn't matter why they need support. It doesn't matter whether they've got a label or not a label. They need support. Let's give them
yeah.
support. Nowadays, they have to have the label to get the support. And so I think that those labels are
Help
helpful
when
for
it
a lot
comes to
of
that.
people. And so definitely,
What happens to the neurotypical people now? Neurotypical children? They're just left to get on with it.
well, yeah, that that's what our society is trying to mold everyone into, isn't it? I don't agree with that either, but that like I don't agree with how our society is at all. So yeah, but that's the robot that the powers that be want everyone to be like, isn't it?
Mm,
The neurotypical, I don't believe is typical. It's just the way it's the prototype, I guess.
yeah, you came straight out of the box
Mm,
in their ideal world.
yeah, exactly. Okay, next. Oh my gosh, pulled my headphones
Oh,
off.
oh,
Oh,
oh dear!
next
I've lost
question.
your. Move your microphone closer to your mouth.
Ah, do you remember the first time you realised your opinion of someone was completely wrong?
Um,
Oh, what was your opinion
I
of me
used
when
to
you
get
first met
this a
me?
lot. I used to get this a lot. I don't remember when I first met you.
Uh,
Not that you weren't amazing, but um, I think a lot when years ago, I used to think everybody was lovely, but I still now, even professionally. Oh, they're such nice people. Like I really like. It doesn't matter what they do, whether they're good at their job or not, because I just like their personality. Like where I get on with people, and they might not necessarily. But then, yeah, I don't know. I'm not. I don't think I was a very good judge of character. Like I think people were kind when they weren't.
I had this conversation yesterday with Philippa because she's got a friend who, is very narcissistic in their behaviour. I hate to drop that word in because it's just so thrown about, isn't it, these days?
Yeah,
But they
but it's a
really
spectrum
are.
again, isn't it?
High
High level,
not necessarily, not when it's pathology. I don't think it's a
diagnosed.
spectrum. Anyway, this person doesn't have any other friends, um, but they they have a high status. They could be perceived as having a high status in certain areas, and I suppose they ride on that perhaps. And Philippa gets benefits as a result of that by being friends. But that's not why she's friends with the person. She's friends with the person because she can see a depth to the person. I've got another friend who I'm not going to mention who has also got involved in my opinion, again, a narcissistic relationship, and kind of actually said the words to me, I see the essence in them, and has been used and abused and thrown about like they're a play toy by that person. And Philippa is also sometimes hurt by the person in her life. And then I've got a friend who I wouldn't necessarily say was narcissistic, but certainly, there's definitely something going on. And it's a similar story. This person kind of doesn't wins friends very, very, very quickly, but also loses them. And I was saying to Philippa, like, I think that in these situations we've both been kind of manipulated because we see the best in people, and we can, and this other friend as well, the same, kind of see the depth of a person, and maybe see underneath that stuff. But the problem is, I was saying to Philippa, have we though? Have we actually seen underneath, or have we just let ourselves be manipulated by their
Ah,
manipulation
yeah,
tactics? Like there's love bombing, those kind of behaviors.
yeah.
And we see that and we go, oh, but they're so
They're nice,
nice when they're
really.
like that.
When they're, yeah.
But other people have cut them out quite
Or
readily and quite
yeah,
quickly.
yeah.
And so I was like, oh, I think actually we might not be very good judges of character, as much as I'd like to think I'm a good judge of character.
Yeah,
Actually,
see, my
maybe we're
friend
not.
Hayley, that knows me very, very well, says that I'm a rubbish judge of character. She can see through anyone. She is like a, I just, she's like, I wish I could bring her along in situations and right, this person, she'd be like, no, she is
Yeah.
so good. She's like, you're rubbish.
But
You're
do you
rubbish.
do you listen to her?
Yeah, yeah, I do. Yeah, and I think she is 99.9% of the time she is 100% correct.
It's really hard
80% of
though.
the time she's right 100% of the time.
You know what? Going back to all of the three people I've just talked about, my friend Philippa and myself, I'm not sure that any of us would forego the positive moments with the people I'm talking about, like the friends.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Men definitely terrible. Always have been.
uh,
Probably always will be.
yeah, that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's. Oh, so this one is a transference question. Do you ever catch yourself reacting not to the person in front of you, but to someone from your past?
Yeah, definitely. You hear people's Here we go again with my voices, not schizophrenia. I yeah, definitely. What in situations like with people, I have to hold myself back from some things that I think more personally than anything else. The voices of perhaps being the parental being put down type thing. Definitely.
Yeah, I think what it's asking is if, like, I mean, let's take a work example. If someone
Yeah.
speaks to you in a work
Mm.
situation, about work,
You ain't telling me what to do.
do you ever
You
respond
ain't my real daddy.
exactly like that?
No, I don't respond like that, but I definitely have to hold myself back. Definitely.
Are you ever able to
But I
go,
can see what's
oh,
going on. I can see what's going on. I know
okay?
what's going on. So I have to be like, oh,
Do you be like, that's
oh,
not what they said, that's not what they
yeah,
meant,
that's not what
they're
they
a different
meant. Yeah.
person?
Here's an example. When I left my last company, I received an email from somebody very senior asking to meet me and asking to meet me next, the week before I was about to leave the company, with no agenda, and with and I was just, it threw me into a spin. Just like, well, because I thought I'd done something wrong. Like, why would
Yeah,
somebody that senior want to meet me? Like, I've done something wrong. I've done something. How can I find out? She's only sat across the desk from me. She was very approachable. I'm like, why she put a meeting in my diary and not even mentioned anything? No agenda, just catch up the week before I leave. Like, what have I done?
yeah, I do that
No,
too,
I didn't do
as you
anything. She
know.
just wanted me to finish a piece of work off.
I mean,
It was just nothing.
that's quite a
But
big bold
that's
move.
another. But that's another thing, where you're just bringing your own. That is just bringing your own beliefs into something, isn't it? That's not real.
Absolutely,
But you don't.
yeah.
But then you don't know because until you're there. So you sit there worrying about something that's not going to happen.
Do you think that's, well, something that I do, and I wonder if you do it too, is in my head, everybody else in the entire world is completely 100% stable, doesn't have any insecurities, doesn't worry about things, doesn't have any anxieties.
Well, yeah, clearly, because when I send messages to you, and I'm just like, oh, and you're probably the person that I'm the most honest with about what I'm feeling, rather than anything else. And then and then when you sometimes come back and just go, oh yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, that's not just me then, because sometimes I think it's some of the thoughts I have are a little bit cray cray,
But it's so weird. But
considering.
when you say about like the meeting with the woman, with the senior person, it's like in your head she's like walking about the place like her world is
Thinking
totally.
about me constantly.
No, it's the opposite. No.
Oh,
Do you not perceive it as the opposite? That she's like, that in her mind she's been like, oh, I need Angela to finish that bit of work, put in meeting, never think about it again.
yeah, that's it. But then I'm
But what
thinking, if
about,
she wants to scold me for something that I've made some huge mistake on the project, and she's like, well, this is
but what about
that
if
was what was in
she,
my mind.
what about if she actually put it in a meeting because she doesn't, for example, is too intimidated or too scared or too anxious to come over and talk to you at your desk?
Yeah, could be that. I didn't think of that. Didn't think
No,
of that,
because we
did I?
don't, do we? We don't think that other people could be worrying or anxious as well, and their behaviors might be, or like they might be up all night worrying about talking to you the next day or something like that. Like I certainly go around life
Yeah,
thinking that everyone else is totally cool with everything.
yeah. Oh, oh no.
Yeah.
It's true. It is true.
Or like, when you need someone for something and so you feel like you're in a lower position because you need something, but what's to say actually they need you more than you need them, but you just don't
Mm.
realize it.
Constantly feeling like you're a burden, perhaps, is a, you know,
Yeah.
are you? Are you?
What's
Are
that all
you?
about?
Mm. So, how do we want to finish this then?
um well, I don't think we've really got any way to
We
finish
got
it, have
anywhere
we?
today? Have we gone round in some big old circle and not actually? I mean, I don't find generally we do resolve issues here, but I don't think you can on this because it is something that's changeable, isn't it?
Maybe it was
It's not something.
inquiry as opposed
It's
to
yeah. It's not something you're going to come
resolution.
up with an answer to, are you?
No,
It's more like,
discussion,
yeah,
exploration,
yeah,
introspection, all the big words.
oh, yes, definitely,
But yeah, we do need to finish because I'm being prodded by my
yeah.
child who wants to go and listen to someone on
As
the
ever, it's
iPad.
been an amazing conversation. We shall end it there.
Yeah. Till next time.
This journey of life with friendship as our guide, together we'll grow, 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 grow. Grow together we'll grow, grow, grow.